Okay, so we got our baby air tank painted here. Didn't really do a whole lot, just scuffed it up, throw a coat of gray paint on it, just make it look a little better. It's gonna go in the mechanical room. So this is a 400-gallon receiver tank, in addition to the 120-gallon we've got on the compressor, so we shouldn't ever have to worry about any kind of air. We've got some fittings we're gonna go ahead and put in here and get this thing ready to plumb up. Okay, so we've got a 3-inch to 1.25 inch bush in here. So the pipe that I've got that I purchased is some of the really good aluminum solid air pipe. So I'm going to use that to plumb in the main part of the compressor and the air dryer. So we're going to get this 3-inch to 1.25 inch installed. Just going to use some regular thread sealant here. This is actually for gas, but same stuff. It's just a little rated for gas. That's what I had on hand. I like the thread sealant a little better than Teflon tape, especially when it comes to air or hydraulics, because the Teflon tape can break loose and get into your system. So we're going to get this installed, and then we'll tighten it up. Like I said, just put a nice even coat all the way around. Hand tight, we'll come back and tighten it. Okay, for this next port, we've got a 1/2 inch port inside the tank. So what we're gonna do with this port is I'm gonna install basically a quick connect fitting for an air hose. So to start with, we're gonna install a street elbow, 1/2 inch. This will allow us to turn the orientation of this ball valve and everything I'm going to install towards the front. It'll be easier to access from the orientation that I'm going to put this on. So install that. Next thing we've got is a 1/2 inch brass full port ball valve and a short nipple. Make sure to cover the end of that so we'll get good seal with the thread sealant. Hopefully have no air leaks. Get this installed. It's gonna be a tight squeeze. Also, we gotta make sure that handle's in the right orientation. We don't want to hit the tank. It is. So we'll get those installed. We'll get that tightened up. And then finally, got a forged bushing, just a Hanson. I think this is made by Speed Air. I just ordered it when I ordered the rest of this. We'll get this put on. And then we'll have access for air at the tank if we ever need it in the future. The bushing installed. And then finally, our quick connect. Your thread sealant. Now we can get this tightened up. It should be good to go. Okay, I'm just gonna take a adjustable wrench real quick. We're gonna hit the valve first. I have already tightened this. Probably have to bring it down just a little bit more. It's not exactly level. give it one more turn. Famous last words. I was told one time, after tight becomes broke. And I think we'll stop right there. So now we'll take our quick connect. Yes, I know this is an adjustable wrench. It could be the appropriate size, but I still don't have my shop set up. And I got the first thing that I could find. Okay, so that's tight. Don't want to go any further and completely bottom it out. I'm going to hit the bushing. Make sure it's good and tight. And I think I can live with that. Okay, so we got the quick connect air hooked up, ball valve. If you ever have to replace this or something happens, we're going to tighten this bottom one real quick, and then we'll move on to the top. So just going to take a pipe wrench. Alrighty. All right, so for our remaining 2 ports on the side of the tank, we've got a 1/4 inch. I was originally going to plug this. I think I might actually order a gauge just to have an extra pressure gauge to put inside the tank. Got a pressure relief valve. I'm not exactly sure what PSI is on this one. I'm hoping that I can bump it up slightly higher than what the tank's, I think it's rated 137 PSI. I know that's at least a 2-time safety factor, so we're going to bump it up just a few PSI, probably to 150 for overall system pressure. The next port we've got is the same as the bottom one. This is a 3 inch. We're going to take this one to 1 1/4 inch as well. This will be the outlet going into the shop. You want all your outlets to come out the top of the tank. That way, if you have any condensation settling, we do have a really good air dryer that I purchased. Also, I'm going to put a coalescing filter and I believe a 40 micron, just regular filter. So that'll remove any kind of water droplets, oil droplets, as well as any kind of rust contaminants that may get to it. That will be prior to the dryer. So this will be a dry tank. We're going to use the compressor as our wet tank to let everything cool off, condensate. Hopefully most of the water will get out. That'll help before the dryer. This tank does have a drain on the bottom as well as a compressor. And then we'll have our drains for both filters and the air dryer. So let's go ahead and get this bushing put in this hole. Okay, so the last thing to wrap up the tank plumbing, we're going to install an 1 1/4 inch check valve. This will keep all of our air if something happens, or if we have to service on the other end, we don't have to take and kill all of our air. It's just a good way to keep all the air in the tank. So 1 1/4 inch, this is a spring check. You always make sure location of airflow. This will be going in towards the tank. So we've got a close nipple. We're going to put our thread sealant, just as we've done with all the other fittings. We'll screw that into the outbound side of the brass check valve. Place thread sealant on the other side. We're going to screw this into the tank. Once again, check the little air. Make sure it's pointing the direction the airflow. This is going to be the inlet to the tank, so air will be coming in this direction. So now we'll tighten that up. We'll grab a pipe wrench. So when we're tightening these, always grab as close as you can. You get out here, you can take and break the check valve or the fitting, whatever you're using. Always grab here. It's got some bosses made on here. Adjust your pipe wrench. I'm not able to get quite to that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some channel locks. That way I can get to this side. We'll just tighten the channel locks. And that'll be good. So now, as long as there's no leaks on the inboard side of the shop, that tank will stay pressurized and won't have any kind of issues. Okay, so putting the first two pieces of pipe for the air dryer, the inlet and outlet. Gonna bring the inlet in with a piece of flex. Taking this piece down for the outlet, will come over to the 400-gallon tank. Had to rotate the fitting at the top. I just poured it and resoldered it using the same solder that was on it. We'll see if that holds. If not, I'll have to pull that back loose and resolder it. Okay, so we just got the 400-gallon receiver tank into the mechanical room. You can see it's got small in a hurry. So I've got the in and the out plumbed down. One on the left, we'll get a flex line going to the outlet where the filter's at on the compressor tank. This one's going to 90 over and go into the inlet where there's a check valve. And then I'm contemplating on how to run from this one to inside the shop. Like I said, right now we're just going to get it in the shop and do one drop until I can afford to buy some more aluminum air pipe. Like I said, I got this cheap and I bought all the stuff at the auction, so that's the only reason why I'm using it right now. But I do want to run the aluminum. It is high, but I think it's one of those that it's worth the expense. You know, when it's all said and done, it's just a lot easier. You don't have any rust issues to deal with. Like I said, it's a lot cleaner, easier installation. So probably going to take this either straight over into the shop or up and over into the shop. We'll see. All right, so air tank's plumbed in on the bottom side from the outlet. You see it comes out in the air dryer. There's isolation valves. I'll have to use a lighter to get to those. So if you don't want to run through the dryer, you can just turn two valves in that center one and it'll bypass the dryer. The inlet side, I'm soaking a fitting right now. It's got some rust on it. Trying to get it where it don't have any rust in it. So stainless hose. Got both my filters. The first one's 40 micron. Like I said, it'll remove any of the big stuff, oil, water. Second one is a 0.03 micron coalescent filter, so it'll remove any kind of water vapor. So we should be good and clean going to the dryer. Once again, goes up, over, comes down, comes over to the bottom. We've got a spring check valve, 1.25 inch. You can see we've got a port here with a quick connect fitting. Pressure relief valve on the back side. You can see we come out, we're gonna go up, and then what we'll do is 90 over, and we'll go in right above that conduit. Inside the shop, I've got to order me some uniseals. I'll show you a neat little trick on those. I really like using those to seal up so you don't have any cracks. So we'll get the rest of that when the fitting and hole saw comes in. But all in all, get pretty close. Also plumbed in the aftercooler, comes straight out of the head of the compressor into the top of it. straight out bottom, stainless lines on both of them, so we ought to have some good condensation in the tank. Go ahead and get it out with an automatic drain. Getting pretty close, firing this thing back up. Okay, so there it is, pushed through the wall. This one did fit a little looser than the last one, so I want to measure the OD of this pipe. I believe the OD of the pipe is a little smaller than 1.5 inches. Still a good seal. So just something to think about if you need to seal a penetration through a building for a pipe. Okay, so here's one on the inside. We've got liner tin in here as well. You can see this one is slanted up slightly. I do have the outside sloping towards the tank, so hopefully any condensation runs back towards the tank and stays out of the shop. Don't think we'll have anything with filters in the dryer I've got, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so here's a drop inside the building. Just gonna put one for right now. It's got a double port with a drain and ball valve. So I'll show you what it looks like coming up through the building as well. Okay, so this is where it comes to the shop. I put a ball valve right where it comes to the shop, turned it up, went over to hit a T. This will eventually go all the way around the shop in a big loop. So for now, like I said, I have ball valves that come with it. So went over, used a saddle that goes down to the drop I just showed you. Over, did the same thing on that side, and eventually we'll go through that header beam and take the loop all the way around the shop. But for now, this has got air in the shop until I can afford to buy some more pipe. So all in all, turned out pretty good. Waiting on a breaker for the air dryer. So as soon as it comes in, I'll get it put in, and then we'll fire it up and get everything filled up and test for leaks. All right, so quick rundown. The full piping job, out the compressor head into our radiator style cooler, out the bottom into the tank. We come out of our tank into a 40 micron into a 0.03 coalescent filter. Stainless line goes up. We hit the dryer. We also have bypass valves, so we can bypass the dryer. Comes out, comes back down the wall. We come over, come into the bottom port. And then from the bottom port, it comes out the top. You can see out the top. And then from there, it goes over into the shop. So I've got plenty of vertical, so anything that just so happens to miss the dryer, all will run back towards this big tank. Then we'll be able to plumb in the automatic drains later on. If we have any issue with moisture in the tanks, then we'll go from there.